Hi guys, this is Eclipse. I hope you'll be joining me for the next 24 minutes or so for some gameplay and commentary from me, Eclipse. I'll be showing you me playing some M416, maybe getting in some C4 action, some other things like that. Generally, we'll be talking about what I'm doing in the gameplay and why I'm doing it. And also, we'll have snippets of me talking about the history that I've had with gaming and some of my most favourite games ever. So, I hope you'll join me for the next 24 minutes of some Battlefield 3 action. Now, at the moment, we're just going to be attacking onto C. Now, most commonly, you'll attack going down these little lanes of a grassy area, but as I like to attack it is up on the rocks. Because with the rocks, they all have a slight gradient of which you can just, and so tip over onto, and then shoot and pick off players. And you can also hide from tanks very easily, just navigating from these mountain of rocks that you have around it. The great thing about this is, it doesn't provide cover from helicopters, but as you're about to see, it's so easy to pick off fellas like that, and they can barely see where you are because you have most of your body covered from it, which is just... Ooh, I don't know how he picks me off with one bullet from LMG, but it's very impressive. Now, with most of this editing, what I've done is I've just taken out the bit where you have to wait like 5 seconds for me to spawn. So you really didn't want to wait for me to spawn. And at the moment, I'm kind of hiding like a chicken shit around this corner while this tank rolls back and forth trying to get me. You see it's just about to roll back. Oh. I'm just hiding around in the little corner. Just hiding, waiting. Yeah, I thought he was an enemy, so I just shot him. But what he's about to do, actually, is he just looked at me and said, I'm about to go do something really brave. So he goes off, and he pulls the trigger on his C4, and I have to run in and revive him. Just like, kind of like a hero. Now, at the moment, I'm getting shot from the left-hand side on here. I find E that is one of possibly the hardest points to actually protect, because you only have the 2 pump stations on either side. You do have a load of outbuildings around it, along the earlier stages of this map. It's actually quite easy to protect them, bouncing along all these different buildings. But as it comes later on, and the buildings get destroyed or blown up, it becomes a real factor that you have to think about of where you're going to stay and where you're going to shoot from, for me. Now as we come back onto E, we start to see it flicker a little bit, or start to be taken, and we're just going to have a look around, down from the back, and unfortunately for this fella on the stairs, it's picked off. Normally I like to go up in the top of this building and crouch down, really small. It does mean... Oh, this fella just sneaked right past me, or at least tried to. And I normally like to stand on the top of this, watch out, just like I am doing at the moment, and just for this moment, we're going to be speeding up. Now, I find with C that whenever I'm getting within about 100 to 50 meters away from it, I really have to think about how I'm approaching it, and I have to be cautious about how I'm approaching it, because with all these rocks that we have around, and that we're using to our advantage, the enemy can also use. And there's so many ways to approach C that it really is one of the hardest places to properly get into and capture without being attacked yourself. Also, one of the worst things you can ever do when attacking C is come blazing in with some vehicle, because just like I am right at the moment, I'm just hid right behind these little bits of rock and little bit of trees. And you can have 3, 4, loads of guys hiding up in the rock, and if you blast in with just this little vehicle, you don't know where anybody is. And just at the moment, I'm having these 2 guys move in, because I've got this nice little crouched in position. I'm just picking off these guys one by one. Go on, Sean, we can get him, we can get him. I don't know how I am able to pick him off already. With the amount of bullets that I pumped into him, I finally kill him just there, but I don't know how I wasn't able to get him beforehand. I was pumping loads of bullets into him, like half a magazine. So, one of my worst things in Battlefield is that I reload far too often. It gets me in trouble so very often. Now, this is going to be me just introducing the next scene, because somehow I was actually able to convince my girlfriend that it was a good idea just to do a tiny little snippet. You'll have to excuse her because she is actually very quiet in the start of it. But she warms up to it with a bit of persuasion, as you're just about to see. Be a bit more vocal than that, woman.
Be a bit more vocal than that. John's about to get killed. There you go, told ya!
Damn it, woman. And that was some wonderful narration by my girlfriend Jasmine. Funnily enough, with that scene, I kind of sat her down and then I just played the scene and told her to see what she saw on screen. And she took a little bit of persuasion, as you probably saw, to get her going. But when she said, "Oh, you're just about to watch Sean die," which is my name, she predicted it, and she didn't even know I was about to die. That's why she laughed so hysterically at me when I actually died and collapsed to the floor. Damn that woman. Now I thought that as we're just running around here, I would tell you about what I run around on my assault class with. Usually I'm using my M416 of late, but I actually used to use the M5, and then I also use the PP19 with the suppression on that as well, which most people think is an absolute nerf gun, but because I like to play in quite a conservative way, I actually really like the PP19. But most of my attachments that I have for the M416 is actually the foregrip, the heavy barrel, and the M145. So I thought, as we're just running around here for a little bit, I can tell you a little bit of the specs of the gun if you want. You unlock your M14, it's the first one you unlock in your assault class, but for me, the unlocks as you go through the kills, the most important is 20 kills with the heavy barrel, 30 kills with the foregrip, and then after that it really doesn't get interesting until you get, for me, down to 150 kills with the M145. The interesting things that I thought was the night vision scope at 100 kills. I liked using that for a little bit, but it just became too much, the whole changing of colours. But your damage that you do with each bullet is to 25 to 18.4. The suppression you're getting with the weapon is 7%. Ammunition capacity of one magazine is 30. Your starting ammunition is 124, but the maximum ammunition is 217. Your reload time on your gun when it's loaded is 1.75, but when you've run out of all your bullets and you use an empty clip, then it's going to be 2.5. The rate per second is 750, and your velocity is going to be 600 meters per second, which is quite impressive, really. And the maximum range apparently you can get with this weapon is 900%. So I thought I'd just tell you a few specs there if you guys were interested and you didn't know those specs already. Where I go and get my specs from is just the Battlefield Wikia. And I hope you guys enjoyed all those little specs for you. Now, as I was saying, I am going to do a little bit of the history that I've had with gaming. And I think for me, it always started out in our household when my father once brought back home a Sega Mega Drive with Sonic. That's kind of just where it all started out. You know, back when you're so young, games are this very interesting thing, and it's it was the first experience for me where you could interact with the TV, where what you were doing with your hands would manipulate what was doing on the screen. And that was just so amazing that you could have this game experience, not just to yourself, but you could also do it with your friends and your family, in my case back then. And it was just so wonderful that it carried on all the way until we got to PlayStation 1 with your Abe's Odyssey. And Abe Odyssey, for me, the first Abe was good, but then the second one it was just such a good game. I think I must have played it a year ago, trying to get the 300 Maduckans from Rupture Farms, but no, I somehow missed that fall, which was kind of a disappointment, but I loved that game. It was one of my favourites ever. Also, what I was playing back then was Metal Gear Solid, which we used to get from a rental store. Oh man, that was my first introduction to Metal Gear, the first one, which is absolute cracking. The first one was really good when it first came out, and I loved playing it, but my favourite was when they'd redone it for the Nintendo GameCube. That was just such a brilliant remake, everything was so well done. They'd brought in the first-person view as well for that redone, and that is one of my favourite games. I love all the boss fights that you have as well, which are just absolutely brilliant. Some of the best times I've also ever had with Metal Gear Solid was when you were running around either in a box or messing around with some C4 or maybe some claymores. Oh man, that stuff was so good when you were just running around in a box, having fellas follow you like, who's that, who's that? Following the tracks in the snow, and then you just blowing up C4 again, all the enemies. The red goes straight up. And then, yeah, everybody comes onto your position. Yeah, brilliant game. All the other existing ones I've played, but my first is... that one is just the brilliant, the first one. I think my only disappointment with the new one, it looks spectacular. The new Fox engine that they have for it is amazing. Like, when they showed you the video at E3 and then they pulled out and you actually figured out that this was gameplay where the guy was galloping along on the horse, that was just amazing. It is one of those true moments, like when you had the Battlefield 3 first trailer, you were just blown away by the quality graphics. But with the new game, my only disappointment is that, you know, David Hayter's not going to be coming back. Man, David Hayter is, for me, the only voice of Solid Snake. Don't get me wrong, Keith Sutherland, he's amazing. I've heard him do a few lines off Solid Snake, and he is going to be an amazing fit, an amazing role that he's going to have to fill though. Because David Hayter is just it's so brilliant. The way he can so easily do it as well. It's just an amazing career, an amazing story that David Hayter has been able to bring us through with his vote. But also, talking of other amazing games, we need to move on to Gears of War. I know there might be some Xbox haters out there, but I'm a bit of an Xbox hater as well. But for me, Gears of War was just one of these co-op games where I could sit down with one of my brothers. Mainly this was me and Thane that was doing this, where we would go through Gears of 1, 2. We started on 3 a bit, but we would do this on first like a medium difficulty, and then like months later we would go through on the hardest difficulty you get. But by near the end of the game, where you were having stretches of 5 hours of playing this Gears of War, you were just so zoned into what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. If the technology was there that you have with the PlayStation 4 when we were playing Gears of War, where you could instantly just upload and you could have your friends watching, man, we would have had such a part in time just watching these videos again, because there's this one scene in Gears of War 2 where there's this massive canyon between you two, and you both have your own little corridors. And for me, it was the bow, and then for Thane, it was the sniper rifle. So when he had his own little wave, I was flying my bolts across the fucking yard at him, picking off his enemies, helping him out, and telling them where they're going. And then when it was my turn, you had him snipering them. And oh man, we were getting like chains of 20 perfect reloads, which gets you a few golden bullets that do more damage. For me, it is those games that kind of instill in me how good gaming is, and how it can bring you and your family together, really. Playing these games together, it's just, yeah, such a wonderful time. After all that, I kind of started leaning away from the console because of how much my big brother and Nathan were playing PC games, like they were playing Eve and the other great MMOs like WoW. And I was just watching them play Eve, and I was so into watching them mining and just the music that you had from Eve, just listening to it now. Whenever I watch like an Eve trailer, it brings back so many memories of gaming and the music that was behind it, which was so brilliant. And I started really first leaning away from a console about maybe 2 years now, which, you know, yeah, man, it seems earlier ago than that I was leaning away from it, but yeah, about 2 years ago I started building my own little rig, and one of the main reasons I got into PC gaming was because Steam and its Steam sales is just so good. I rarely buy a game new. I bought Bioshock Infinite new just because of the amazing ratings that I got, and I've bought the Battlefield 4 beta, and not bought the beta. I can buy the beta. I've bought the Battlefield 4, and it's a premium set as well, just because I'm so looking forward to it. And I've been so into Battlefield 3 with my friends and whatnot that I just have to get the next one. And yeah, I started getting up my own rig, and well, I'd seen a few of my other friends getting medium rigs, and I knew that if I got a substandard rig, that if I wanted to play games at the best possible graphics setting, then I would just not be able to do such. What I was going to have to do was just keep on buying single components and just keep on adding to this awesome project that I was getting up, which was about a year ago when the 680 first got released. I bought one on the release. I actually pre-ordered one, and at that time I must have had 8 gig of 2100 megahertz. I had an i7 2700K, an Asus motherboard. I think I only bought a 650 watt PSU for it back then. But back then I never knew that I was actually going to get a 680 SLI setup, so it kind of bit me in the ass back when I actually, like a month ago, when I wanted to change up to an SLI system, that it kind of, yeah, it was sucked that I had to then also fork out for the PSU. But all in all, I'm the move into PC area and the territory, and just the freedom that it allows you to have on your consoles. I can understand that you have your game there, and if you're into your driving games, your gamepads are always going to be there. But for me, it was always to do with the first-person shooters. It roots back from when I used to be able to play Twin Snakes in first person, and then you had your Metal Gear Solids and whatnot, and then your Gears of War. And for that, all that gunplay, it was just bringing me into the first-person arena, where I started out playing Battlefield maybe a year ago or so ago. I did buy Battlefield when it got released. Actually, no, I didn't. No. Yes, I did. I did buy Battlefield 3 when it got released. It was back then. It was just to see whether my PC or not would be able to play it on some of the awesome frames. And yeah. It still kicks ass today, really. At the moment, I'm playing on a 2600 screen by a 4400, but I only record in 720. That's why my videos, when you might pop it up to a 1080, like a little bit pixelated, as they actually are. And yeah, that is most of my gaming history encapsulated in a very slim, nice little package for you there. Which I hope you guys have enjoyed me rambling on, possibly, about all that. But it's so nice to tell you about how wonderful the gaming community is, especially in Battlefield. Battlefield 3 is one of those where if you get the right team and you can get a squad that you've just joined, or whether you have a group of friends and you play in that squad, and I'm about to upload some footage of me doing some awesome footage with my friends all in a squad. And that was just some amazing gameplay that we got. We had such a laugh, and it is so fun when you can get a group of friends and you're all on voice chat and you talking shit to each other, you're blowing each other up with rockets. It's so fun to be able to play, and when somebody gets killed and you're like the last person in your squad and you're a medic and you're trying to run in there with your paddles and you're trying to revive as many as you can, and you're taking fire from everywhere. It is just such an awesome experience. To be able to play this like this every night as well is it's a brilliant game that I will truly never shy away from, and I'm so looking forward to Battlefield 4 and what we'll be able to bring. Oh no! I couldn't save that guy! Did you see that where I just kind of shaked the screen and I was angry that I couldn't save him? Also, one of the most notable things about the forest area is that it doesn't have an emplacement. All your other checkpoints that you have on this map, or capture points, sorry, on this map, all have emplacements or buildings of sorts. Whereas the forest is the only true one, where you've just plopped down a flag in the middle of it, and you have to try and defend from this mountain range that you have around you. So many entrances to choose from that it is just really hard to choose where you want to go and how you want to attack. I think I've narrowed down how I want to attack now in the forest because it is my favourite point. But on D, I never like to go up the roads. Going up the roads to the hilltop is, yeah, that's my grievance. I always like to go up from this little lane I came up, or the dirt track that's right across from us, next to that fallen antenna. You know, most people don't know this, but actually at the gas station you can bring down the water tower there as well. There is actually 2 falling events on this map. Your antenna's one and your water tower is the other. Now I think these next 2 scenes that I'm about to show you, I just thought were very funny gameplay really for me, because things like this do happen, but I just never can seem to capture them on the video, so I really do hope you guys enjoy these next ones. Now this is me. I'll set the scene to you. I've just loaded up some C4, I've blown it, and I've come over here, I've put down my little box, and I'm now getting up. This guy's shooting over there, so we're gonna creep up. Oh, but there's a guy on the right. This guy, what's he doing? Oh no, he's not gonna do the same thing. Oh no, load up the C4 really quick. I gotta load up the C4. I go back, I'm trying to get a nice viewpoint, and oh, what? No, he's done it, and then mine exploded. So, oh man, if it was on hardcode mode, I would have filled him through and through with bullets. Now, this is one of the other bits where I was just nicely firing around. Usually on C, I never like to get in vehicles because it's just the worst thing to do on C. But I thought here, because we were just owning, and the nearest one you had was A, and we had so many teams around that I would have been able to see them on the mini-map before they shot me anyway. But here I was just nicely driving around, and then from the left, this guy's just about to come out. You see him there? You see him there? He starts shooting me. Like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. So he gets in, and then he starts driving, and I'm just like, alright, I haven't been in a vehicle for a while, so we'll drive away, I'll drive away. And you're just about to watch him. There he is. He's just sneaking away now. Because you know what he's done? Guess what he's done? He drove me into a fucking tank. I can't believe it. He just gets in the vehicle, starts driving me towards this bloody tank, jumps out, and then just lets me sail towards this bloody tank getting blown up. Although he did get his just desserts, and he did get blown up. Now this, I had to put this in because this guy was so annoying. The mortar that killed me, like most of the time. This is me taking one shot. It was a bit rusty, but on the second shot, ba-boom, I killed that fucking mortar. The weird thing was with that guy was that you weren't able to see him on the kill cam. Alright guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. That was the 24 minutes I promised you. I hope it was up to your kind of standards of what you thought. Tell me about the editing, give me some advice about it. I'm quite new to this, so you could tell me if some of it's a little bit bad. So next time, the next video I'm going to be bringing is Squad Up with me and my awesome squad and some awesome fun that we had. This is Eclipse, signing out. Bye guys.